In today's video, you'll see something you don't want to see when renovating a house. That being a slimy invader who found an even slimier hiding place and a house completely overrun by snakes.
You have two timber rattlesnakes. It's not just one.
No.
You have two snakes.
No.
We start with timber rattlesnakes found in a Texas home during renovation. Today's first instance of a scaly and potentially deadly invasion happened over in Texas when a woman renovating a house suddenly heard the distinct rattle of a rattlesnake. Of course, she immediately called in snake experts in order to get rid of the deadly reptile, and it's a good thing that she did. The experts looked around the house for the invader and were surprised to find not one, but two of the venomous serpents, later identified to be timber rattlesnakes. These vipers pack quite the potent combination of a neurotoxin and hemotoxin. This deadly cocktail will attack the victim's nervous system, internal organs, and even his blood. One of the snakes was removed without incident, but the second one wasn't too happy. The hissing that came from it while the experts were trying to pick it up using the snake hook is definitely unnerving and can potentially mean that the snake could strike at any time. In any case, though, both reptiles were safely removed from the home and taken to a place where they would hopefully not venture into another person's home ever again. Hopefully. Buying their own home is a dream for every family out there. So when the Sessions family bought their home in Idaho, it was a literal dream come true, only for the dream to become a nightmare in a few short months. Just weeks after moving into their new home, the Sessions started to notice snakes roaming around their house, but only just a few at first. However, the numbers escalated quickly, with snakes literally crawling out of the woodwork. There were snakes in their bedroom, their kitchen, their living room, snakes hanging from the ceilings and crawling inside their walls, probably even some on their plane, if they had one. Heck, some were even found in their garbage cans, though. Admittedly, this case is a bit different, because it's not the snakes that were actually invading the home, it's humans who actually invaded theirs. The house was built right on top of a snake pit, a place where these snakes live and breed. And with their exit blocked by the house, they had no choice but to find other ways of leaving their den. The house, and whoever just happened to be there, also just happened to be in their way. The CCTV footage shows a snake crawling towards a sleeping woman. Probably thought that the woman's moving foot was a threat, so it first reared itself up into a defensive position. When the woman's foot moved again, it struck with deadly accuracy. The amazing thing is that the woman didn't actually feel the strike immediately. It took a few moments for the pain to register, and when it finally did, she immediately took a flashlight to look for the culprit. That's when she realized what happened, and she immediately got up and asked her son for help. The two managed to trap the slithering serpent in the bathroom before they called for help, which arrived shortly thereafter. Despite the bite, the old woman received treatment and made a full recovery. Surely snakes can't climb vertical faces, right? Well, apparently they can, as proven by this video taken by a homeowner from Australia who saw a giant 9-foot python climbing the wall on the side of his garage. Homeowner Robbie Nill said that he knew that there was a giant snake lurking around the vicinity of his house when he caught glimpses of it a few months before. He even gave it a name, Dirk. His first clear encounter with Dirk was when he saw it in the rafters of his garage and managed to take a few photos of him. The brave Australian that he is, he attempted and succeeded to pull the snake down during that time. However, he did admit that he was a bit scared just in case the snake did decide to attack. When he did manage to take him down, he didn't contact animal experts, instead choosing to chuck the snake in the bushes behind his house. Dirk probably took a liking to the place and has since regularly come back to the house, and this video is probably the most amazing way he could think of to invade the Nill home. Now, Australia, as some of you may well know, is a country that is no stranger to snakes. In fact, they have a lot of them. Some venomous, some not. And as proven in the previous clip, these guys can find their way into people's homes. In this case, a blogger named Bobbin Oz discovered an unknown kind of snake behind a shelf. He initially thought to call animal control to deal with the reptile, but eventually decided to do a bit of do-it-yourself snake removal. I cannot stress the importance of this enough, but please do not try this at home. He initially identified the invader to be a green tree snake, but there was no way to confirm. Ignorance notwithstanding, he still decided to deal with the problem himself, and probably regretted it instantly. The snake turned out to be bigger than he expected, and estimated to be at least 6 feet long. Fortunately, he didn't pick the snake up himself, but rather used an assortment of household items, which included a long-handled broom and to gently prod the misplaced reptile out of his house. He eventually succeeded, but a new problem quickly arose. The snake disappeared. So it's quite possible that he did another round of do-it-yourself snake removal after this. Nobody wants to see a toilet snake, and no, I'm not talking about the kind that somebody forgot to flush down. I'm talking about the real-life snake here. Venomous fangs and all, and probably still kinda smelly. That's why nobody found it amusing when this cobra decided to make himself comfy inside a toilet in this home in India. Cobras can grow very large, so fortunately the one that found its way into this home is a medium-sized one. The thing is, no matter how big or small they are, cobras are still deadly venomous. That's why you can clearly see how careful this snake expert is at handling the snake, never using his hands to pick it up. And because it chose a very untidy place to call its temporary home, the snake handler even gave it a wash before eventually removing it from the house, making the residents feel safe again when using the facilities. From India, we fly back to, where else, Australia, when a man found quite the surprise when he came home from a friend's house on Christmas Eve. Right in the middle of his hallway was a 2-foot-long snake. He wasn't sure what kind of snake it was and whether it's potentially dangerous, so he didn't use his hands to carry it out, but rather used the business end of a rake. Upon examining the snake, he noticed that part of his tail was chewed on, so he came to the conclusion that his cat had something to do with the snake's sudden appearance in his house. That and the fact that the cat was still trying to claw at the snake while he was trying to remove it. A tense moment happened near the end when the cat was successfully able to grab the snake from the rake, causing it to fall. No harm done though, and the snake was taken outside and sent on his merry way on this very eventful Christmas Eve. Snake catchers over in Malaysia were called in to deal with a giant king cobra who found its way into the garage of a house. However, it looked like they were too preoccupied with filming the huge serpent. They actually were successful at chasing the snake into the house itself. King cobras are highly venomous, and getting bit by one is definitely bad news. And despite how big they are, they seem to find no problem slipping into the tiniest of cracks, as seen here on this clip, as the snake somehow found a way to slip into the tiny gaps along the floor. Their nature also makes them excellent in finding hiding places, which could mean that these snake catchers are going to have a harder time finding the snake inside the house. Let's just hope they put their phones down before going on the hunt again. In Thailand, a man was rushed to the hospital when he was bitten by a fairly large python. Given the number of wild pythons in Thailand, attacks on humans are pretty common. However, there is something painfully special about this attack. It happened inside the man's home, in the bathroom no less, and he was bitten on that part of the body that is extraordinarily special, not to mention extremely sensitive to, us men. The attack happened when the man was sitting on his toilet, when the snake somehow managed to enter the house through the plumbing. Rescuers arrived to find the python's head hanging from the bathroom door, secured by a rope, with the rest of the snake still stuck in the squat toilet at the man's home. Both man and the snake did survive this private invasion, and the man vowed to look first in the toilet before doing his business. Now it's time for the day's best pick. So if you find something online that piqued your curiosity, just send it on over to us and we'll look into it for you. Who knows, might even feature it in a future video. Today's photo shows us a snake under a bed. He's probably waiting there to give someone a very bad morning, and there are actually many cases of snakes taking refuge under people's beds. This is because it provides them with the cover that they prefer when looking for resting places. But this instance is no doubt the worst I've seen. A woman in Georgia actually found a family of snakes living under her own bed. Homeowner Trish Wilcher found the mother snake on the floor of a bedroom just as she was about to go to bed. She told her husband and they did a search of their bedroom, and found 17 other baby snakes under the bed. They also looked like they just hatched, so that's fun. Trish's husband bravely gathered up the snakes using a grabbing tool and put all of them in a cloth bag. The snakes were then relocated into a nearby creek. Fortunately, most experts think that the scaly invaders were harmless garter snakes and were drawn into the house while hunting for vermin. Which reptile invasion made you wince the most? Well, let us know down below in the comments. Also, make sure to check out the channel's other amazing videos. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Later, everybody.